It has come to my attention that I do not believe that I have a postcard project tutorial video. People like Troy Rutter wanted to see what this postcard project was all about. I probably have one buried on my channel, but I want to do a standalone video. So what it is that I collect stamps, and I collect first day issue covers. One of the reasons is I lived very close to a traditional stamp shop, and they sold coins as well, and they also had a box of first day covers. The reason why I was buying these first day covers is because they were only 10 cents a piece, and that's really what I could afford. I could afford the bargain bins when I was a kid, and I thought they were a pretty neat collection to go along with a stamp book that several people gave me stamp books over the years. Oh, you collect stamps? Well, that's how I got those. They also every once in a while had postcards in that bin. There was another store that I would go to, an antique shop, and they would have things like 50 cents, $1, maybe even as low as a quarter for photographs and postcards. And I kept finding some neat ones. I just threw them in a box and picked images that I liked. And sometimes I would actually use postcards to write letters or thank you notes. So for example, here, we'll just grab this one here. If I had somebody that went to Harvard, that would be a great thing to have them autograph. They can autograph the front picture, or they can autograph the back of it. And if I am sending a thank you, or if I'm actually sending a letter, sometimes I used this postcard. If I had no use for it, then I would write the letter on it. Say, "Dear Mr. So-and-so, I know you graduated from Harvard in 2003, blah, blah, blah. Would you sign my whatever item that I have sent?" And then it just occurred to me that I had quite a few of them. Then many years ago, I don't have the exact box here, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is in a little disarray right now. I've got this massively huge box that I custom built, similar specifications to the box that some envelopes I purchased came in, again from that same coin and stamp shop. And they had a box, sorry, move that box out. They had a box of old used envelopes for $5. And I was like, well, they only have like flag stamps on it. I was looking for interesting stamps and unusual things on there. I said, well, you know what, I might find something I can use out of that box. You know, or some of the stamps that are cleaner condition might have replaced the ones in my book. And then I started throwing some of these away and tossing some of them and dealing with some of them. And then I noticed that they were canceled from almost every place imaginable in all of Oregon where I live. And it was just amazing. Every part of southern, eastern, western, northern Oregon you could think of. There's people that had 5 people that lived there. Any place that had a post office. So I started cataloging those from a list called Postmaster Finder. I don't know if you can see that there, but it says Postmaster Finder right there. And I mark off all the post offices that have canceled right there. This is for Alaska right here. And then I have notes about some of them. Some of them have different names that they go by, etc., etc., etc. And so I started printing those lists out for Oregon, and sure enough I had quite a few of them, but I did not have all of them. So a few years later I decided I'm going to try to write to an Oregon post office, see how it goes. And it came back within a few days, maybe a week. And so I started writing to all the other places in Oregon, usually with an Oregon-themed postcard or something like that. Here's one that says Olympic Rainforest. That one just came back from Washington. I can't read the cancel too well, but you can see that there. And so I started writing to places like the Grand Canyon. And the Grand Canyon has a post office down at the bottom. I can't think of the name of the place right now. And the mail is sent to that post office by mule. Well, the only place in the United States, I think, that actually does that. So it's called mule mail. So I sent a bunch of Grand Canyon postcards. They even sent me a bonus postcard. And that's when I realized that just like fan packs, etc., and autograph requests, sometimes you'll get extra pieces of mail. So when I send my autograph requests to Alaska, some of these remote villages, I send them an Oregon postcard. So this is not Oregon, but well, actually this is Oregon, Northeast Oregon. So that'll go off to some place in Alaska. It says, "Dear Postmaster." So what I will write on a regular lined piece of paper, I'll say, "Dear Postmaster," because if you go on the web, that postmaster information may not be there, or that might be the previous postmaster and they have not updated the data. So I say, dear postmaster, I am a postcard collector and now I am a cancel or postmark collector, and then you list the reasons why you're doing that and what your goals are. And then you just quickly say, I have included a postcard for you, this one here, to keep. From my personal collection. So even though I just purchased it probably yesterday, it's technically part of my personal collection. And then I would say, would you cancel and the stamps on my postcard at 35 cents, which has been added, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, all those penny stamps there with the Oregon stamp on there, and cancel that, and then I can add that to my collection. And then within a reasonable amount of time, you'll get your postcard back. And a lot of people are doing these for special events. There's a website called the Postmark, Pictorial Postmarks or something like that, and they will give you a window that you can send them off. So I will send off maybe this one here if there was something going on in Northeast Oregon, and then there was maybe a stamp for that. You don't have to use that particular stamp. You can use whatever you want as long as it makes sense. A lot of people will send off in this type of envelope here. Actually, you can have that. That's going off to Mike Thaler, author, a children's author in Oregon. If you need Mike Thaler's autograph, there it is. It's on his website. No problem there. If you need an envelope, I use one of these for maybe 5x7s, the greeting card envelope. Some of the foreign postcards and some of these other ones are a little bit larger and they won't fit in a business envelope. There's Harvard again. And I will send that. And then sometimes if I want my postcard to come back in perfect condition, then I will send it in a return envelope with another 55 cents. And then like the one that I just showed you that just came back today, that will have a lot of markings on it. Sometimes people just call it added history. There are times where they will not cancel your postcard, they don't understand, and you'll just get the generic, what is the one in California? Santa Barbara, there's another one that people always get, Southern California, can't think of the postmark from there, or, get Phoenix, Arizona, or Portland, Oregon, or, that sort of thing. And the reason why I was doing this is because I just wanted to finish out the state of Oregon. Then I said, well, I've got a few Washington cards. I keep finding Washington, Alaska, Hawaii. What am I going to do with all these postcards? So I started writing to them, and I wanted to finish up these lists here. The silly thing here is that this is a list for Oregon, okay? There's all these places here. Many of these places that have zip codes no longer exist anymore or have even a post office. And a lot of places that have a post office, say like Kaiser, Oregon, may not have a post office that you can actually request a cancel for. It's a different type of post office. You may be able to get mail canceled there, but it's hard to explain, so I just go with the major lists like the Postmaster Finder. We'll just quickly go to the Hawaii tab here. And you can see how many I have for Hawaii here, and then there. And they actually have a bunch on here that says closed in 1904. You can go to eBay and look and see if you can find those. One of the things I noticed about some of these cancels is that even that they still have a post office in many of these places, you're not going to find one for sale. Or if you do, it might be $15 or $20. Sometimes $2, $3, but a lot of times $15 or $20 because it's one of those age-old tradition of the only one on eBay type deal. And then, of course, I have a little map of Hawaii, the Big Island, and some more stuff there too. So that's kind of, if you have any more comments, questions, or how to do this type of thing, like I said, you just grab an envelope like you would an autograph request, put in the item that you want to have back, put the proper postage on there, and you can either have it sent back without an envelope or with an envelope. And a lot of times the post offices will put, let me grab one here. This one came from Soldotna, Alaska, and they gave me their own envelope and put some extra stuff in there. So that was really pretty cool of them. They did not need to do that. You don't necessarily need to write a thank you unless they go above and beyond. But you're pretty much already thanking them, saying, I appreciate the post office. Several people have said thank you for using the post office. It really we really appreciate it. So that is why I do that. It's a fun project, and also because my autographs have completely fell off planet Earth for whatever reason. None of them are coming in, about one a week if that. So this was just basically to supplement my collection and use up some old stationery that had it laying around, and it ballooned into a huge collection. And it took only, I'm going to show you that box again. It only took about a year and a half to get that entire box right there. Absolutely astounding. So I hope you can get some information out of that, and hopefully that helps you out, Troy, and thank you for watching.